I'm the creator of this GPT that's now available in the ChatGPT store. It's called Books Commander GPT for QBO. Um, it's a GPT that allows you to interact with your QuickBooks Online. And just wanted to record a video in real time so everyone can see kind of how it works when you are actually using it. So I'm gonna kind of go right from the beginning of how to use the product. Um, so because it's an integrated product, I had to create sort of a login, and because it does cost money to run the product, I had to create a pricing tier. But I've got this free version that I set up that allows people to use it um, for as long as they want. You get 50 free actions throughout the month, and it just renews every month. So if it's like a small scale operation, you can probably get away with doing that. Go through the process. You could try it out using the free version. This application's really nothing fancy. It's just something that allows you to use ChatGPT to interact with your QuickBooks Online. So the reason I built the app is because uh, I was just wondering why is it that we as accountants don't use ChatGPT the way that coders use ChatGPT. Coders will people that write software, they'll tell ChatGPT, make me this entire web application step by step, and they're able to create full web applications, mobile apps, and all kinds of software. So why is it that we as accountants can't do the same? Now I know that there's some security risks that we have to take into account, especially if we're dealing with customer data. I think that overall, if we don't embrace AI as accountants, for those of us that are old school, if we don't adopt the new technology, we're going to get left behind by those who, um, instead of just shutting the conversation down of using AI to perform your job, the approach that they will take is let's put some security around it and make full use of AI to enhance our workflows. And so I think that ChatGPT is a really great tool for doing research. And if with this new capability, with this capability that this Books Commander GPT allows you to have, you're now able to perform actions. But so right now I'm here. I'm in the dashboard. I've just created an account. I selected the free version. Now I ended up here in the dashboard. Now I am in the dashboard. I'm in the test environment. So the actual website is actually just called bookscommander.com. If you guys want to check that out. And like I said, there's nothing special about this particular application. It just kind of serves as a gateway between the two companies. And the reason you have to create an account is because this web application, what it does, it facilitates the interaction. So we actually have to store some of your data, mainly just your keys, which is something that you grant whenever you're using an application that's associated with QuickBooks Online. Whenever you sign up to any web application that's available to be used on QuickBooks Online, you sort of grant permission to the application owner to take actions on your behalf. So, you transfer that data over to them, and it's on them to secure it, to make sure that your private keys are protected. And that's what I do here. I created this application so that in order to get to this screen, which is your own personal space, you have to log in, and we use the Google authentication product to help us make sure that we're not dropping the ball on authentication security. So once you're in here, you would normally see your companies that are connected here. I'm going to connect to my sandbox, and if anybody is interested in trying the product out, I'm happy to send you a link to the test environment, and you kind of go through this process. When you say connect app, this Intuit, it takes you to the Intuit website, and so you never provide us your user login and password. You're just directed to the Intuit portal to authenticate into your QuickBooks, and QuickBooks will show you this screen that kind of allows you to confirm that you're going to be interacting with our system, and you're going to share your keys with us. We're going to put them in a database in a encrypted manner, and anytime that you send a request back and forth, we're going to decrypt that and only use it for communication between your ChatGPT session and your QuickBooks. So here I'm going to go ahead and say connect, and it should take me back to my dashboard, and the dashboard shows the company that I'm working with. And the reason you do this whole process is so that we can generate a session ID. With this session ID, this is what you're going to be using within the ChatGPT Books Commander GPT. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of start the process here of what you might do. You might start by saying, what's my company? And then it's going to ask you for that session ID. If you don't have one, you would go to Books Commander login, or the pricing page there, and go through the sign up process to create an account and then get one. So it says, confirm. After every action, it's going to ask you to confirm. Okay, awesome. So it says that it's working with Sandbox US2, which is the name of the company that I'm working with. It's from the developer section there. Oh, and as I was saying earlier, if you want to try this application out, I can send you a link to the test environment. What you would need to do in order to use the app is come into the developer Intuit section and create a sandbox company, and that way you can go through the entire process of authenticating using your own login credentials, and then you log into this test environment, and then from then on you're gonna be working in this test account. So I went ahead and from the Intuit developer console, I opened up this instance of a company, and it's going to take me to a test version of the QuickBooks Online, where you can do all your testing and playing around. Going forward, I'm not sure if that's going to be the way I'll do it for anyone wanting to try the app, but definitely for the first few people, I can definitely accommodate that. I don't mind sharing this test environment with some folks. It's taking a minute to load there, but okay. At this point, what I'm going to do is, and by the way, I just created this sandbox environment, so it should be like a brand new instance. So if I go over to the reports, and I run a trial balance. Oh, it does have some data in there. So let's see what it has here. Truck, original cost. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can go back and delete the information in there. Let's see, sandboxes. Open, clear the data and reset. Yes, clear the data. This may take a moment. Let's see. Yeah, US2. Man, it does take a while to reset a company here. Okay, it says it's been reset. I'm gonna go into the company and run a trial balance, and hopefully it'll show zero balance for everything. Yeah, so as of 5/13, which is today, there's no balance. Okay, so the first thing I want to do with with this test here is to do a trial balance. So we're gonna sort of say that, let's see, I'm gonna do December 2024 cutover date. Okay, so I'm gonna upload this trial balance. So this is for people who are looking to transition from another company over another software, accounting software, over to QuickBooks Online, usually the thing that they'll do is they will the first thing they'll do is they'll set up these the general ledger accounts that correspond to their existing accounting system, and then they'll upload a journal entry, which is the becomes the beginning balance. So I said December here, but actually I'm gonna revert back to March 31st because this trial balance does have some expenses, so it hasn't been closed out yet. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and copy that data over here, and I'm gonna tell ChatGPT, oh, okay, shoot. Let's see, we are transitioning to QBO. This is our TB from our old accounting system. I don't need to give it too much information. Can you first check if we already have accounts that match our old system? And just because we are working with accounting, I like to do things one at a time, and then maybe in the future, once you get comfortable with prompt engineering, you can work on many at a time. But I think it's good to sort of go one by one in this case, right? So we're going to say, please check each account one by one and show me what you find. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And it's going to attempt to talk to the connector. On the back end, it's sending a session ID over to my back end, and okay, so here we ran into an issue because it is pointing to the live environment. Okay, so I think what I'm going to have to do is I'll pause this video, and I'm going to have to create a Books Commander GPT that points to the test environment, because right now it's probably trying to connect to the front end, to the live environment. So I'm going to pause the video, and then we'll come back to this. I went ahead and created this test environment Books Commander GPT within ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and re-ask the same question. So we're going to basically say, again, here is our TB from our old accounting system. I would like to book this as of 3/31/25. Before booking, please check each account one by one and check with me after each try to see if the account already exists. Okay, and then we paste the data and submit that. And it's going to ask us for, it's going to tell us what it plans to do, and it wants the session ID. So I'll go back to my dashboard. I'm going to copy the session ID, paste it. Whoops, wrong one. Paste it there. Let's see if it works. It does look like it's talking to the test environment now, so let's see if it applies it. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, it does. Okay, so it connected. It says that it checked for the checking account. It does not exist. And I'm a little concerned about that, just because I know that QuickBooks comes with some custom accounts already here. So let's see, checking. So it doesn't have checking, but does it have cash? Bank expense. So I guess it doesn't have a checking account. So it's only 1 through 40. Okay. So it doesn't exist. I'll trust it a little bit more. Okay, so just check that does not exist. Would you like me to create the account? And I say yes. Okay, so I know that this seems like, hey, at this point, why don't I just go into the system and do it by myself? I think one of the benefits of going through this process is that it suggests to use some information here, right? This is information that you're going to have to be inputting manually if you create it by yourself. And so it's kind of nice in a way to just be able to tell it go and do this, and then and then you go and review what it just did, right? So in this case, I confirmed it should do it, so I'll check to see if it did it. There it is. So it created it. Yeah, so you're able to come in here and kind of see what it did. It's a bank type of account, and it's a checking account. And then now it's going to the next one. Okay, so now it's saying accounts receivable. Does not currently exist in the chart of accounts. Would you like me to create it using accounts receivable, subtype, accounts receivable? And I'm just going to check this one again too. Receivable doesn't come up, so I'll just say yes. Confirm. And for me personally, if this is my first time doing it, there it is. I would go one by one, especially for setting up accounts, and especially if you already have a bunch of them in here. In this case, it looks like there's only 40 accounts, right? It's not 42, the two that we just added. But if you have a bunch of accounts that you've already set up, it might not be smart enough, ChatGPT might not be smart enough to recognize, for example, like if you have, I'm not sure, like prepaid expense as a category, and then you have subcategories like prepaid rent, prepaid utilities. You could have sub accounts, and it's very possible for ChatGPT to not be able to recognize those differences. So I think for me, it still makes sense to kind of check them one by one. And for me, I do like that it gives you suggestions. It tells you what to name it, and in what category to place it in. If you've gone through the process of creating these manually, it kind of, let's do this one manually so we can see what we're talking about. This one, it's saying we should do other current assets. Okay, detail type. What did it choose? Let's see. I'm actually curious what it did here, because okay, detail type checking. So actually, if you look here, it's not really telling you. It's telling you the type and the subtype. Let's see. So type, account type, and then this is the subtype. Okay, got it. So it's choosing those things for you. And for me, I like being able to kind of just it just gets to the point. And you're kind of seeing it here. It's telling you this is what I'm gonna name it, right? So it'll be other current assets and then subtype inventory. That's what it's doing. So it's like that, other current assets, and then inventory. Right. So those are just little small decisions that you would be having to make one by one for these, and it's just a little thing, but those little decisions over several accounts, you could get really tired. Whereas in this case, as it's going through this, it's just telling me what it thinks it should do. You review it, and if it makes sense, you should go for it. You should try it. You could always go back and if you're an accountant, you'll kind of know. But for this one, because I added it manually, I'm just gonna say skip this one. I just added it. manually. Okay, now it's saying inventory, finished goods. Okay, it's asking me to confirm even just to check it at this time. It says it doesn't exist, and it wants to put it as a current assets and inventory, and that makes sense to me. Next one would be the prepaid insurance. See, this is one of those that might be under a subcategory. And actually, why don't we do that? Why don't we test out what this would look like if we want to keep prepaid as a category and then prepaid insurance as a subcategory. And I think that's what we just talked about. See, the prepaid expense exists, but prepaid insurance doesn't. I mean, yeah, prepaid insurance doesn't. So I'll say, can you make this a subcategory of prepaid? Um, and actually, this one it's an expense. It's a oh no, it is a other current. They're calling it an expense, but I think these are prepaid assets, not prepaid expenses. But I'll just pretend that this prepaid expense is something I like, but I don't. I would normally call this prepaid asset. I'm going to confirm. It says it exists, and I can nest it. Should I go ahead and do that? Yes. Okay. Confirm. Sometimes it confirms a lot, and that's I think a good thing. I'd rather it confirm more than I'd rather it asks me a little bit more than for it to just go off into its own thing, which it could do. It's very possible. So I'm gonna refresh this page and see if it nested that prepaid, and it did. It put that prepaid insurance under prepaid expense. It's a current asset, so these all match up. It looks good. Next, it's checking the equipment. It says it wants to create it as an asset and machinery and equipment. That makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna say yes. Confirm. Okay, and I'm not gonna check these until later. We'll kind of auto confirm once I actually upload the journal entry. So I'm just gonna go a little faster here and kind of just check along here with my spreadsheet to make sure that it's going through all of them. So now it's with accounts payable. It's running now. Let's see, not part of the chart of accounts. Shall I proceed? Yes. Okay, it's been created. Next is credit card payables. Okay, it's checking to see if it exists. Would you like me to create it? Yes. I didn't check ahead of time whether any of these already exist in the prepaid. I mean, in the general ledger account, or in the chart of account rather. So let's see, loan payable. Okay, yep, long-term liability. It's checking now. It's not found. Created. Yes. Confirm. And the thing about this is that you can always go into your accounting system and double check the work that the GPT is doing. But as you can see, it's really like the job kind of becomes like, you have a junior accountant telling you, this is what I intend to do. Can you, review for sanity? Like as an expert accountant, can you confirm that, this account should go under current liabilities and deferred revenue? And, that's your job as the accountant to know if it's appropriate. And I mean, that's part of your job. And then the other part of your job is going into the chart of accounts, right? But this GPT is kind of acting as a junior accountant where it brings you what it thinks the initial entry. It brings you an initial suggestion, and then you, as a more professional, higher level person, you can approve the entry into the system. Oh, I just clicked I expanded this, but basically under the hood, what it's doing, it's the ChatGPT is packaging the information in a way that the endpoint on my end, on Books Commander app, understands. And that's another way to check. You can always, like, whenever, like in this case, right, it's saying payroll liabilities. It's checking it, um, and it's telling you what it's doing. It's telling you it's running a query to with this very specific parameter, and that's how it's checking. And then if you expand this, you kind of see what else it's doing. It's doing get, and it's sending the query out. And when you confirm, you can also expand to see, you can kind of like confirm what it's sending, but because it's doing it one by one, um, it'll kind of just be one action at a time. It's just sending one piece of data at a time. But that's one way to confirm. And we are dealing with financial information, so it's really good to be able to check what it is that the GPT is trying to do, before you hit that confirm button. Um, we're at common stock now, equity common stock. Yes. And the reason I'm doing this kind of long form video is just so people can get a sense of what it's going to be like to interact with this thing, um, if you're actually using it. I have another video out where I cut out a lot of the silences and the errors that this thing was encountering, and but it was just for demonstration purposes. But this one, it's more just, I want people to get an idea of like how they're going to be interacting with it. So there's a lot of interaction. It's a lot of like, um, kind of checking, and if there's anything wrong, you tell it, hey, I don't like this, or do have a special request. It comes back to you. It gives you a suggestion, and you confirm that is in fact what you want the thing to do for you. So we're down at rent expense at this point. We're almost done. Okay, next is payroll and expense type, payroll expense. And when it comes to the general ledger, none of these things are permanent. You can always go into the chart of accounts here and edit the account, and change these different account types to fit your reporting needs. You can also tell the GPT to make those changes for you. So like if you confirm something and then later on you're like, hey, can you actually change the subtype, or can you make that a subcategory of something else? It can do that for you. Okay, equity. Let's confirm it exists. Talked, retained, is present as expected. All 19 accounts have been reviewed. Missing ones have been created. Would you like to book the journal entry as of March 31st using this trial balance? And then, okay, so it's confirmed it's done all those. And, I've used this system in the past, and just for testing, I've told it to do everything all at once for me without me checking these one by one. And it ran into a lot of errors. And uh, when you're doing it one by one, I noticed that it didn't really have many errors at all in communication. So I think, you know, uh, with that piece of information, in addition to, I've worked with ChatGPT for coding projects and a bunch of other stuff, and that is a theme. Sort of one of the rules that I have when I interact with ChatGPT is that if you give it smaller prompts, kind of more focused prompts, it does produce better results. And in this case, it was actually able to produce excellent results. It booked all the entries without error. So that's pretty nice to see, actually. If you are running into you know, you're trying to do a bunch of things at the same time. There's more chance of error. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and book this journal entry. And one thing that I have run into is that it doesn't assign a journal entry. So I'm going to say suggest a JE number to use. Okay, so JE opening 2025. Yeah, this one's fine. And then I'm gonna say for description, use opening TB balance 2025 from old system. And for memo, include something descriptive. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so it'll be a J with this number, date, March 31st. That makes sense. The description, so I'm expecting that all line items will have this description on them. And the memo will have opening trial balance imported from prior accounting system as of 3/31/25. And then I'll say proceed, yes. Well, yeah, I'm gonna check the JE real quick. Yeah, it's a long JE. It's sending a lot of information over, and you can confirm that. But like I said, the JE is gonna show up in QuickBooks. Let's see, element ID 1 not found occurred because it requires a custom vendor reference when the journal entry involves accounts receivable and accounts payable. Okay, so it's saying that QuickBooks requires a customer for accounts receivables and a vendor for accounts payable. So we know that customer and vendors have not been set up, and it's saying, should I create dummy ones? I'm going to say create dummy ones. And typically when you do a cutover, you will book closing entries, so you shouldn't need to bring over accounts payable and accounts receivable. No, you would. Those are balance sheet accounts. Sorry about that. Never mind. Okay. These two have been created. And then it says it failed because of an imbalance. Let's see. I checked it. 230. Let's see which one's missing. So checking, AR, inventory, prepaid. Wait, inventory finished goods. Inventory raw materials. I don't see inventory raw materials. 230, 950. We're $15,000 short. Yeah, it's this one here that's missing. 230, 230. Okay. Would you like me to adjust the retained earnings? It's overcredited. I'm just going to provide it this again. I'm going to say, here is the data. Again, the totals should be. Yeah, I don't know what this is. So this time it picked up the raw materials. Okay. Okay, let's try it. And if you're doing this stuff manually, you would obviously go and create a journal entry in here. I'm going to create a journal entry, and you would be kind of going one by one, checking account, and copying this data over, and then entering a description. And there's always the chance for for error, especially when you're doing a bunch of transactions. So you always end up having to kind of in addition to doing the manual data entry, you're having to check these one by one if it ends up with a incorrect balance at the end. So I'm not going to save that. And then so it says it's been booked, and then it says to view your QBO. So I have instructed it to provide a link to the journal entry whenever it creates one, and that's what it did here. It gave me a direct link, and journal date looks good, the journal number looks good, the descriptions all look good. The dummy opening customer here, the whole balance was assigned to that dummy customer, and for AP the dummy vendor was used for the entire AP balance there. And a lot of times if you're coming in from another system, you could bring this in as an initial amount, and then later on bring in the detailed vendor records that equal these $22,000, and then you come back here and just delete delete this entry. So yeah, so now we kind of were able to kind of do a detailed review. So you have the checking account 60, accounts receivable 25, inventory, raw materials 15, finished goods 20, prepaid insurance 4, equipment 80, accounts payable 22, credit card payable 5, loan payable 45. Okay, deferred revenue. Where's my deferred revenue? There it is, 3. Okay, payroll liabilities 225 to 2005. Accumulated depreciation 10. Here it is. Yep, 10. It moved. It's down here. Common stock 50. Sales revenue 55. Cost of goods sold 22. Software expense 900. Rent expense 36. Payroll expense 15. Utilities 450. Equity 53. 450, and the totals are 245,950. Okay, so this J looks good, and I don't have to save it. It's already been booked by the by the GPT. I'm gonna go, and I know a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to learn QuickBooks, but I find that if you just do a search up here for whatever you're looking for, it usually just gives you a little link to whatever you're trying to get to. So in this case, here's the trial balance, and there we go. It matches the trial balance that we brought in. So this is just a very simple example of bringing that in, but I want to try something a little bit more advanced. So I want to now try importing vendor records, and so here in our example, I put together a list of vendors, and then after those have been all set up, I want to go in and update them with the federal ID number. This is something that could be useful when it's tax season and you're having to issue 1099 forms. And some vendors, you maybe forgot to collect their federal ID number. You send out letters, and you might have a spreadsheet where you keep track of all the federal ID numbers that you've collected. Instead of going one by one, you can potentially just tell ChatGPT, for these vendors, go update their federal ID number. And so for this next exercise, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to set up these vendors. I'm gonna just see if there's any vendors that are already in the system. There shouldn't be, except for that dummy one that we created earlier. All right, so now can you please add the following vendors? And this time I'm not gonna go one by one. I'm gonna see if let's see how it does in entering all these. See, it says one at a time. Let's see. Each will include vendor address, email, phone. Okay, this will be done one. So I'm gonna say, is there a way to bulk upload these? There might not be a way to upload bulk, but let's see. It does not support bulk in a single call, so they each have to be created. But they do have it says they have a built-in import tool. So you go to expense, New vendor, select import. Yeah, see, so the benefit of having ChatGPT do it also is that you don't have to format a CSV in any specific way. You could have a list, and ChatGPT will figure out, these are the um, like the minimum fields that are required. Um, I mean, maybe it's just providing these now because of what we provided it, but when you're actually uploading information into QuickBooks, QuickBooks has like a certain requirements of how they will accept data. So you know, if you're doing a import, like first you have to um, sort of format that CSV file so that it's compliant before you upload it. So that's definitely an option still, and um, let's see, legacy batch, but I'm just gonna say continue here because that's just what I want to do. We're here to try out this application to see how it works. Okay, I'll proceed. Next up, with the remaining 19. Whoa, 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 whoa. We never confirmed the first one, did we? I never confirmed the first one. Better not be in there. Yeah, it's not in there. We never did the first one. You're absolutely right. Okay. Okay, let's go do that. Now proceeding to the next one. So at least here, because I didn't tell it to confirm with me one by one, it's kind of going on autopilot at this point. So it's sending one API request at a time and submitting this. So it's kind of easy to confirm also, since it's doing it one by one. You can look here to see what it's doing. You kind of see like, supply company, what address is it using? It's using primary email address, accounting at supply. So that matches. Phone number 214. So you kind of, if you wanted to go one by one, check them out here, or just go into the dashboard here and refresh, and those vendors will start trickling in. Yeah, and I would say, yeah, because it is kind of like in this format, you can confirm a lot of the data, um, and it looks like it's trying to put it into alphabetical order. So maybe you want to sort this by alphabetical order, also, so that you can compare it a little easier. Let's see, blue circuitry, and we'll wait till it finishes. Let's see how it's doing over here. Uh, hasn't run into any errors, but here it is. Okay, so now it reached the limit where if you're using the free version, you get 50 actions per month. So I'll go to the account here, and you can check your period usage by going into the account section under billing, pressing that button. And it does say that you've used 50 out of 50, and it resets at the end of the month. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to add more credits to my account. I've gone ahead and updated it to 50,000 actions there, just to allow me to perform this. Actually, if you guys are doing, if you're going to do the test version, I'll do the same for your account, so that you don't run into any limitations. You could just kind of play with it as much as you want. So I'll tell it here to try again, because it just reached that limit, so it stopped it, but it'll try again. Until, okay, let's see, I just updated. Let's see what it does. Okay, so now it's added redwood cabins. Okay, so it's continuing with the adding these vendors one by one. I really like how it's been going today with this sample, but I will say that there are some times where I'll start up a GPT, and it's like, maybe I got a dumb GPT or something that day, and it just makes a ton of errors. So usually what I do if I get a dumb GPT that day, I'll just start a new session and start fresh. And I might need to do that once or twice, and then until I get a smart one like today. I think this one is pretty smart. It's been formatting everything properly, and it's been playing pretty nice, asking me to confirm and formatting the data all properly. So let's see if it added all 20 vendors. We'll just do a quick review here. Aero alloy, blue, brick, bright, core, clean. I don't see clean. Core, eclipse, green world, harvest, nova, orange, orbit. I don't see orbit. Quantum, redwoods, sky, supply, tech, top, unity. Okay, so I don't see these two. I'm going to refresh just to make sure. Let's see, orange. Yeah, I don't see it. So I think you skip. Hmm. Okay. So now it's going to come. You always have to double check. And I hate when it does this here. Oh man, they're using that as their test case. One thing I forgot to mention here is at the beginning of a conversation, you usually have the opportunity here to set the conversation up as a temporary conversation. If you're concerned about data privacy or having ChatGPT train on your data, I think you can toggle that button that's at the beginning of the conversation. But you have to do it at the beginning of the conversation, otherwise it'll. I think it actually will train on your data. So you still have to be very careful with social security numbers and stuff like that. But if if you're just dealing with, I just refreshed her because it was taking a while to do its thing. Was already at it earlier. This one it says wait. So did I miss something? So clean chem. Let's see. Clean. Oh, it is there. So clean chem is there, and orbit. That's really odd that yeah. So it is there, but I'm not sure why it wasn't showing up when I refreshed the page. Clean chem is there now, and orbit. So I'm not sure if it just added it now but it's claiming that it was already there. So it tried to add the vendor, and it said that it was already in there. So maybe there was a lag in when they were added. I'm not sure what happened there, but they're there. They're all there now. So it looks like it did a pretty good job at just entering them. I'll check a few phone numbers. Let's see, for Arrow 480 match that one right. Brick House 330 555. Okay, yeah. For Orange 786 555. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. So it did a really good job at us making sure that all the data was added to the correct vendor account. Okay, so as we discussed, if we go in here, we're going to be missing our tax ID number, right? So now we're going to, which is going to prevent us from being able to file a 1099 form because we need to get people's federal ID number. But let's say you have a process whereby you emailed your, all these vendors and you asked them to provide a federal ID number. Maybe you sent out some kind of a Google form questionnaire, and then the answers were saved into like a document like this. You can ask ChatGPT to add that information, and I'm going to start a new conversation here. I want a new chat with Books Commander. Okay. I'm gonna say, please update the following vendors with the FEIN. And because this is kind of a sensitive thing and I want to make sure that it does it correct, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save the file, the Excel file, as a separate spreadsheet. Instead of copying and pasting it, I'm gonna save it to a let's see, why is it trying to save download? So I'm just saving it to my downloads, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring it in. Let me hide my stuff here. But I just put it into a spreadsheet. The see, does it show it to me? It's basically this one here. I put it into a spreadsheet, and because when you copy and paste, sometimes stuff comes misaligned. So I just want to make sure that ChatGPT is able to read this document properly. Okay, so that's what I'm going to ask it to do. Because it's a brand new session, it is going to ask me for a session ID number. So I'm going to copy that session ID number from my Books Commander dashboard, and I'm going to provide it to the GPT. Yes. So first it's going to try to pull the vendor list, which is going to be some sort of a query, I think. Yeah, it's some sort of a query. And the vendors that matched QuickBooks along with their... Oh, not update these. What about the rest of them? Let's see, there's a total of 20. So the other 15. The remaining are listed. These could be. Would you like me to show the unmatched names? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say update, search, and update one by one. That way, what we're telling it is to so it's saying that it already matched them up, but I'm going to say no. Please do all 20 this way. So it shouldn't have updated anything because I never authorized it to. Wait, where's my vendors? Here. So it claimed that it had already updated these, but it shouldn't have because I never authorized it to, and I didn't see it do it. So yeah, it didn't do it. So I'm gonna, from your Excel that matched into these vendors, telling me to proceed. Okay. Retrieve, no, match these. Okay. See, we've ended up with a dumb GPT here. So I'm gonna go actually back here, and I'm gonna modify the prompt here. I'm gonna say, please do check these vendors one by one for existence, and then update. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it recovered, because it was telling me it still wanted to import the 5 first ones that it found, which is not what I asked it to do. So I went back to the original prompt and told it to kind of, this kind of deletes the information. Hmm. I'm just gonna say these vendors should all have missing FEIN. Um, let's see, the name might be a little off, but should be very close. Let's see what it does. Got it. So it's going to do an approximate match. So earlier, I think what it was doing an exact match, and that's why I couldn't find all 20 of them. And I'm not sure what would have caused them not to be the same. I don't know what that is. Have access to session. Okay, now extracting, displaying these. Please hold on while I extract the data from Excel to identify the vendor names and answer chat. Analysis error. The tool I normally use to read is currently disabled. Let me know the columns and sheet. Alright, so I should just copy and paste it from the beginning. So I'm just gonna paste this data like that. See what happens. See, it wants to search the first 5. I wonder if that's some kind of a limitation that ChatGPT puts so that it doesn't get overwhelmed with a bunch of data. So what I'm gonna do is, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you gotta start a new chat, so, and hopefully you get a smarter GPT. And then this time I'm just gonna paste the data. Let's see. Let's say, please update the vendor records with these federal ID numbers. Okay, needs a session ID number. I've retrieved the vendor list successfully. All 20 are ready to update. I will now update each vendor's tax ID number. So this one was able to find all vendors. Supposedly. Let's see. I don't trust it, but let's see. Would you like me to proceed updating? Say yes. And then, before getting this confirmed, I could look at, see what it's trying to do. And sync token data ID 60. Okay, so I think 60 is just the probably the ID for each of the vendors. So it's gonna go one by one because it did tell us earlier that it's not able to update. Although the vendor has a display name, it requires it to explicitly include in the update request. I'll include the display name along with the ID. Would you like me to retry? Yes. Let's see. So now it has the ID and the display name. Okay, that's what it was talking about. Okay, this one has been successfully added. So Technova. Let's go to Technova and check their federal ID number. FEIN. So I'm not gonna click it because it's gonna, it's protected here. But the last 4 do match. So 6, 7, 8, 9 is there. And then you could always open these, but if I do, it's just gonna ask me to. It's gonna send me a text message to do all to authenticate, and I don't really want to go through that process right now. But ChatGPT is kind of going one by one, and I think it is trying to do all of them, all 20 of them. 4 remaining. I was partway through when this tool session ended. If you like, I can immediately continue. Yes, continue. This one's doing a pretty nice job. See, like I said, sometimes you get these dumb GPTs, and sometimes you get these really smart ones that will do the job right. And all vendors are not complete. This one was already complete. Okay, so it only needed 3 out of the 4. Okay, so that's what it's claiming. I want to see if it'll retrieve. Let's see. Can you retrieve from QBO? I'm going to do this as a separate one just to double confirm so that I'm going to open up kind of like this new context. This chat doesn't have any context about those vendors that I just added. So I want to say, can you pull vendors and their FEIN from QBO? And then I'll paste the vendor names to see what it does. So it's going to ask me for this session ID. I'm going to give it to them. Boom. Doing a lookup. Okay, so it kind of blocks them, but let's see. Supply 4321. Then there's green world 2334. Quantum. I'm just gonna select some random ones here. So we have quantum parts 4556. Yeah. Well, first of all, you can kind of see that they all have a tax ID number. And the other thing you could do is, once you have it in this format, you can copy it over to your Excel spreadsheet. And let's do a little side-by-side comparison here. Yeah, so this looks good. So this data was retrieved directly from QBO, so that's a way to confirm. But yeah, like instead of like going through each of these and kind of confirming that the tax ID was there, you can ask ChatGPT to do a query to bring in the data. It's the FEIN is kept secure here, and like I said, if let me see if it comes up here. Yeah, it looks like for these types of chats, they don't allow you to set it as a temporary. Like if you were working with a regular one, you could press this temporary button, and it'll delete the conversation. It says it won't appear in the history. It's not gonna keep memories, and they're not gonna train their models. And then if you wanted to prevent them, instead of clicking on this temporary thing, you can set up your settings so that that they don't do that. So you can, let's see, where do you go here? Data controls, data. So improve the model for everyone. You could set that to off, and that's one way where you can tell ChatGPT not to train on your data. And then for personalization memories, this is something that that you can disable, so that when you're working with ChatGPT, if you have these settings off, it doesn't record in its memory information about you. So those are some ways that you can do it, even though it seems that, yeah, when you're working within a GPT like ours, like the one I created, looks like they don't give you that option to set it as a temporary chat, which is, it kind of sucks. So it's kind of on you to determine, what information you feel comfortable putting into the system. So unfortunately, that's like on our end, on Books Commander, we just act kind of as a bridge between ChatGPT and QuickBooks. We don't log anything. We don't save any of the data. All the transactions that go through our system, we do have to save some data, but it's more for like transaction processing. It's kind of like here's an ID associated with this transaction, so that when we're interacting between the systems, we have that ID as a reference. But Besides that, we don't read any of of the information. It doesn't get logged anywhere. We just kind of our thing is we kind of just create that secure bridge, but we can't control what ChatGPT does. You know, if I think if you're able to get comfortable securing your account in ChatGPT, um, then your data will become it'll stay safe. And like I said earlier, I think as we move forward as accountants, you have to adapt or you're gonna get left behind. I think AI is gonna be something that stays with us. And as you can see, it's able to do a lot of things. Um, some of the things we did today, just like basic uploads um, and queries, these are things that are already available through other apps. But those are just very simple examples. Um, a more advanced case thing that I wanted to actually do is have a monthly subscription, kind of like this one, where the vendor will send you invoices that have inconsistent dates. Sometimes they'll come in on the 30th, sometimes like on the 2nd. So you might have a situation where the April expense ends up getting booked with this date, right? So it shows up on your May report, and then for the month of June, you'll have May being posted in June, and the June being posted in June. So it looks like you have six. It looks like on April you have zero expense. In uh, in May it looks like you have a $300 expense, and then in June it looks like you have a $600 expense. So it causes all this variation, and like typically this is the correct way to enter them. You enter your invoice, and you enter it with the date associated with the invoice, but they just happen to fall on the wrong period. So what I want to do is I want to um, enter this information, and the other thing is the description, right? You may have inconsistent description. So what I want to do is first I'm going to upload this information into QuickBooks, and then I'm going to ask ChatGPT to go in there and analyze the transaction and provide a way to make sure that the expense that got recorded get that it shows up in the proper accounting period. And what I expect for it to do, what I normally would do as an accountant, is to like for this April transaction, I would reverse out. I would do a reversing entry where like I record the $300 expense to April, and then I back it out in the following month, in the month of May, which will cancel the incorrect booking, right? So right now it's showing up in May, and then with the reversing entry, it kind of brings that balance down to zero, and it puts it into the correct period, right? You book it to April. So we'll we'll see what it does, but we're gonna start with that. We're gonna start with please upload the following bills. Okay. It's gonna ask me for um that's right. I have to make sure that the account is one of the accounts that we set up earlier. Let's see. Software expense. Just to keep it simple, yeah, so software expense, it's already in there. It's going to look up the software expense ID, and it's going to find the vendor ID, and then based on that, it'll create the bills. So it found my company. It found the account and the vendor, and now it's going to prepare the bills. Bills to be created. Would you like these to be created? Yes. So it's kind of going one by one, it looks like. See, this one has a description of April. Okay. The next one, description of May. Okay, good. Okay, online bills have been created. A sample link. So I'll go ahead and open that. Let's see. Okay. So that's what it did. Let me go back to this vendor. Technova under vendor bills. Okay, here we go. So that's what it did. Okay, so now let me show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm gonna run a general ledger here. I'm gonna run a general ledger report starting April, and I'm gonna go all the way through the end of the year. And customize, filter, account, soft. What's going on here? So I'm looking for software expense. Wait, what's going on here? Account? General ledger. Distribution account. Let's see, that's the distribution account that I need to be looking at. Services. Here, software expense. Okay, here we go. So when you're reviewing your financials, you might see something like this, right? So what I want to do is first I want to tell ChatGPT to correct this, okay? To see, instead of me having to click through these and update them one by one, I'm going to create a new session here so that it's, it's kind of like you're performing your review and you're like, oh, this doesn't look nice. Help me update the memo, right? That's what we need to do. So help me update the memo for consistency. For Technova LLC in GL account software expense. Copy. Let's see. I suggest updating the memo section as follows. Use software only if it aligns with QBO. Rejects. Wait. Sorry. That's not what I meant. That didn't mean memo. It's the description. So I'm gonna edit this comment here for software expenses. Because it does make a difference. The memo is a different field than the description. Maybe better labeled or described under expenditures. Okay, I'm going to be more clear. I don't like how inconsistent the description is for bills associated with Technova. In Technova for expenses booked under GL account software expense. CEG can you provide a better description I can use and also help me make those changes? And it might take a couple tries, but also once you've got this down, um, it is possible to keep this prompt, um, or just over time. I do think that you kind of start to understand what ChatGPT, like how you can help ChatGPT understand what it is you're trying to do. Um, so let's see. To create a more consistent and professional description for bills for Technova, it's best to use a standardized format. Here's a recommended naming convention. So vendor, service, product, month, year. Um, I'm gonna say, how about just just that? I don't need. I already have the vendor name. I don't need it to also have the name. Let's see. To proceed, I'll need your session ID. Okay. So let's see. Um, Once I have that, it's gonna search for the bills under software expense, and then it could update the line item. Okay, go for it. Two, two, two. Okay. Nested queries. All bills, filter those tied with software. It doesn't support filtering directly by vendor and ref.name. Okay, look at the ID, then query all bills. Okay, query, now retrieving. I'll retrieve the recent bills without a filter. Okay. Yes. Okay, so it says it did one of them and that it's asking me if I should continue doing the rest of them. And I said yes. So let's see what it's doing. This one. This is the first one it updated, the December one. Let me confirm that. Because it found 8 bills, or 8 additional bills. Continuing with bill 152. Okay. It does provide the link there to the actual bill, but I'm just going to look at it through here. I'm going to see what the progress looks like. So here we go. Let's see, August. Continuing with bill. It looks like it got stuck. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to say continue. Okay, so even though I would say that in this case, I'm not sure if it's really going to save any actual time. Well, I can tell you from experience in updating these. For me personally, I hate going into these and going through this whole click and wait for it to load, and then going in here and clicking into it and updating it, and then being like, oh wait, is that the right month? So I do think that this does save you some brain power, if anything. Where it's kind of like ChatGPT is doing the thinking. It's kind of saying, this is what I need, this is what I want to do. And you saw all these things that it ran into. It ran into all these formatting issues here. It was like it tried to query one way and some other way, and all these different things. And I don't know what it was trying to do, but it finally said, hey, uh, using this method, this is how I can do this for you, and started doing it. And then it finally, provides you um, the final result here. And I kind of like that. So let's see, onto the next step. So the next thing I want to do is I want to say the invoices are showing up in the wrong accounting period because of the inconsistent bill dates. I don't want to change the bill dates. Because the data should match the support. How do you suggest we place the expenses in the correct period? Let's see what it tells us. It says the proper approach is to use a manual journal entry for accrual adjustments. So you create a journal entry at the end of the month, software expense, and you credit accrued liabilities, a liability account like accrued expense or accrued payables. This recognizes the expense in the correct period. And then you reverse the journal entry on the bill date. On the actual bill date, you create a reversing entry where you debit the accrued liability and you credit the software expense, and that offsets the entry. Okay, that's what I would do. Okay, so then it gives you an example. Okay, so would you like me to prepare these journal entries for April, May as a demo? And I'm going to say yes. Oh, confirm. There's no accrued liabilities. So you can use an existing liability account like accounts payable or create I'm going to say create it because I want to be able to review it later. But the thing is, so I think I have to confirm it. Let me confirm that. And I'm going to run a, let's see, I'm going to go to reports. And I'm going to do P&L by month. I'm going to do this one. And let's see here, software expense. Sorry, I have to go from April 1st, 2025 through 12/31/2025. Okay. Can I filter by distribution account? Software expense. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about here. When you look at the software expense and you kind of analyze it, you've got all these differences, right? So in some months it looks like you have a $300 expense, in some it looks like you have zero, and in some it looks like you have $600 of expense. And for financial analysis, it's not pretty. You know, it's best to match the expense to the correct period. Kind of, you want to see 300 across the board so that you know what you're spending on a monthly basis. That's the proper way of doing it. So this one, it said that let's see, it went ahead and created the journal entry. It hit the expense account and the accrued account. Okay, so it says that the April expense should now correctly appear in April's financials with the actual bill remaining untouched. Let's see, hold on. So what did it do? It said let's read here. So it created a journal entry dated April 30th to accrue the April expense, and then it did a reversing journal entry on May 2nd. Okay, so then it gives me journal entry 155 and 156. Okay, so I'm gonna go take a look at those real quick. Do they exist? Yes. Okay, so that's the reversal. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna run this report again. Can I just refresh? Okay, we're gonna have to recreate this again. 04, 01, 25, 12, 31, 25. Okay, so I'm gonna analyze this April amount because I think what was happening is that the April was showing up in May, right? So with this journal entry that was created, this accrual, it put the expense into April as it should be, and then right now it's the May one is showing up at zero because its expense is being recognized in the June period, and the invoice that had been processed under May has been zeroed out by that reversal, the accrual reversal. So what I want to do is I want to click on this so we could see all the transactions real quick. So you kind of see that the bill is still here. This April bill that got recorded in May is still here, but it gets reversed out, right? It gets zeroed out by this one. So it takes the April expense out of May and puts it into the correct period. Okay, so these kind of transactions I really hate doing because it's just like a bunch of work. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit of help from the GPT. Let's run this one more time. Okay. I should save this. SW. Save. I don't know if it's going to matter. Okay, I'm going to say yes, do for all that are booked to the wrong period. But only do those transactions. I should have specified this earlier. That occurred in 2025. Because if you already closed out your previous periods, you don't want it to be messing with other periods, right? So it's best to specify. And then a lot of people are like, well, can you reverse this or that? You can always go into the transaction, like those journal entries that were created, you go in there and delete those journal entries if you don't want to see them there anymore. So we could do that. You could always do that. So one thing to note is that when you're using the APIs, like this GPT is transacting through APIs. It's kind of like talking from one computer to another computer. QuickBooks does limit how much you can delete. So a lot of times if you're trying to mass delete stuff, it's going to be hard. I don't think it's going to let you. If you need to delete stuff, most of the time it's going to have to be done manually. The best you can do is like to fix something that's in the system and you don't want to sit there and delete stuff, is to use more journal entries, like adjusting journal entries to correct those things. So if you made a bad journal entry, you don't want to go in there and delete it. You find it and then you can tell ChatGPT reverse that journal entry. So that's one way to do it. So it looks like this one, it kind of just went throughout the entire period. And it's asking if I want a summary. I'm going to go for yes. I'm going to say yeah, provide a summary. Let's see what it returns. It should retrieve what just happened. So here are the adjustments that were made. All right, I'm also just going to run this report again. There you go. That's the button for refresh. Yeah, so it didn't really do it. Did these correctly. This one's a negative now. Let's see what it did. Okay, so this one reverses the May. That's correct. So for June, yeah, see this June one is not right. So I'm going to delete it. And am I able to go back to the previous, back to summary report? Okay, here we go. Okay, so Okay, sorry. So if you have to refresh this one here. Yeah. So now that shows up there. Let's look at July. In July, you have a bill. That one's already properly there. This is the reversal for June, which also doesn't need to be there. So you kind of see some of the limitations here. And it's probably best if you're going to do something like this to, um, yeah, you're definitely going to have to review stuff like this. Let's see, refresh. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so yeah, so you can see it did it wrong in June, it did it wrong in July, because it made an accrual where like this accrual wasn't needed because the July is already right. The July actual invoice, it's already in the right period. It says this one is for July and the date is in July, so this one was correct. So fix that. For the month of August, we're gonna have to go in and delete the reversal. Okay. Actually, what I want to do now is I want to see. So obviously here we still have a few months that are messed up, you know. So at this point, it looks like actually it's just the August and September. So I'm gonna ask it to uh, review the entire account um, from 4/1/2025 through 12/31/2025 to make sure you did it right. Let's see what it comes up with. So yeah, unfortunately, it looks like something a little bit more complicated than that. It might struggle with. I'm sure that it'll have like hit and miss with this type of situation where sometimes it gets it right and like in this case it got it wrong. So you always have to monitor it, you know, and kind of gauge like you know is this something that you want it to work on for you or not. Um, it said that from August through December, all the bills were correctly dated for the right periods. Um, oh, but obviously that's not right. See, the August one is booked to September. September's correct. October's correct. November's correct. December's correct. I'm gonna tell it August is not. You're right. I missed the August entry, which is dated. This yeah, just book it. Okay, so it booked those two entries. Let's refresh. Okay, so for the month of August, it booked the journal entry in the correct period. It booked the accrual, and then it reversed it out to cancel out this incorrect posting. Okay, now back to our summary report. Refresh that. This is what we want to see, right? In our financial statements, we want to smooth out our expenses, and yeah, it's one of those things where like you know, if you're an accountant, you know, who really takes pride in their job, you want to see consistency in the descriptions, and so that you know, like yeah, we received a bill for the month of April, right? Even though it's dated 5/2, it's for the month of April, and you can uh, quickly see the pattern, you know, and audit. Like you can export this and format it, like and sort it, you know, by date or, and then you can quickly by having it this way, by having you know just a proper description, you're able to audit this a lot faster, and when it comes to financial reporting, you do need, like, the correct way to do things is to have a smooth expense like this. So um, yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about using ChatGPT for booking your, or helping you with your accounting work. You saw how I did it here with some of these examples, and these are just some examples that I've had some issues with, like, working as an accountant. I used to be a consultant, and I've worked for a bunch of different corporations, and I've done books for a long time. And like, for me, I could tell you, doing it through ChatGPT and just kind of telling it do this, and then having it come up with the strategy and then present it to me, and then I just kind of confirm yes or no, is a lot easier on my brain than figuring that stuff out on my own, and then having the extra chore of going into the accounting system and entering the data. Um, and I think it's also just a little bit more, it's a little funner to do it this way, because you're kind of a reviewer instead of just like a data entry person, which I don't know, it adds a little fulfillment to the job. So yeah, just wanted to share this project with you guys. Like I said, if anybody's interested in checking it out and setting up a sandbox company in using the developer console, um, feel free to hit me up. You can send me an email, send it to support@bookscommander.com, um, and I'll be happy to set you up with an account. Um, you're still gonna have to go through. I'm gonna log out here. Even if I set you up with an account, you're still gonna have to go through this, like, this checkout process, because this is how we tie everything together. It's just like a one integrated system. Um, so to create an account, you just select one of these options. I'm gonna set in the test environment. I'm gonna make it so that the free actions are like 5,000 or some crazy number, so that you can have a lot of room to test with. And then I'm thinking that if you are going to be doing some heavy duty work in your live environment, you might, and you're interested in using this ChatGPT thing, it might be good for you to test out a couple of different prompts, and refine that prompt, uh, and see what kind of results you get within the test environment before you switch over to the live environment. And if you do choose to do it, to do a test environment trial here, I'll send you a link to this separate GPT. It's a private one, so, but I'll send you a link to it, and this one connects to the test environment backend. So yeah, all right, that's kind of it, guys. I'm gonna stop recording now, and I hope to hear some comments. And if you guys have any problems that you'd like for me to work out for you guys, or any test cases you want to see me do, send them over, put them in the comments, send me an email at support@bookscommander.com, and I'm happy to make a video about those different scenarios. Yeah, that's yeah. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you.